for discussion 7, I chose to explain the Micturition process, or the act of emptying the bladder. And to give some background of how this urine gets to the bladder, the ureters transport the urine from the kidneys to the bladder by way of ureters. And the ureters have three layers. And the mucosa, which is the innermost layer, is made up of transitional epithelial tissue. And it also starts all the way at the minor calyx and goes all the way to the urinary bladder. So it has that layer all throughout, all the way to the urinary bladder. And the middle layer is the muscle layer that has 2 layers of smooth muscle in it, and actually combined into 3 layers of smooth muscle as the urethra gets closer to the urinary bladder. And it works as a mechanism to help regulate the amount of urine being emptied into the bladder. And the outer layer is the advita layer, and it is made up of connective tissue that binds to surrounding tissue. And then the urinary bladder, which is this, has 3 layers. It has the mucosa, which came from the ureters all the way from the minor calyx as well. And the muscle layer is the middle layer, and it is referred to as the detrusor layer, which I have that labeled on here for how the Micturition process works. And the bladder is covered by the advita, but the superior region is mostly peritoneum. So in the curved areas, it's surrounded by the peritoneum, and then the advita is mostly where the more flat or straighter angles are going to be. So the Micturition process works once the bladder, the stretch receptors detect the bladder filling. So I have my stretch receptors right here, and they were detecting that the bladder is filling. So the afferent signals send signals to the spinal cord. So it gets the receptors from the bladder filling and send it to the spinal cord. This is my drawing of a spinal cord. And it goes to the spinal cord, and the spinal cord in return sends back signals through parasympathetic fibers. So the spinal cord is sending back the parasympathetic fibers, and they're sending them back in pelvic nerves, through pelvic nerves as well. The signal excites the detrusor muscle. So from the sympathetic fibers, it excites the detrusor muscle, and it contracts and causes the internal sphincter to relax. So when it's contracted, the internal sphincter, which is right here, it will relax. And then from here, there's 2 ways of going about the process of emptying the bladder, which is voluntary and involuntary. So for voluntary control, once the internal urethral sphincter relaxes, we are then able to relax the external urethral sphincter, which is going to be what releases it into the out of the body. And it also, we build up that muscle memory to be able to basically, be potty trained, and to be able to hold it when we can. And that helps us with that voluntary control. Involuntary control is when the efferent signals relax both the internal and external urethral sphincter, and it rids of the body then at that time. It doesn't wait till we are ready, it just goes at that time, which is more so seen in children who are being potty trained, because they have to learn to control that reaction. And that is my presentation and process of the Micturition process. Thank you.